Hello, my friends. I hope that you guys are all doing really well. So for today's video, I wanted to teach you guys some advanced vocabulary and expressions that have to do with movies. So I love watching movies, even though I have very limited opportunities to watch them right now because I'm working and I have a toddler and just lots of other stuff going on. But I truly really love watching a good movie. I won't say I'm a movie snob, but I am pretty particular regarding my movie likes and dislikes. But in today's video, I literally went into my movie closet and I grabbed a bunch of movies that I love for you guys. And I just wanted to kind of chat freely with you guys about these movies. And like I've been doing the last several videos, I'm going to put a note on the bottom of the screen when I say an expression or an idiom or a phrasal verb that I think is worth knowing and remembering. So here we go. So I'm going to start off by mentioning that I love Audrey Hepburn. I don't know, like she's such an icon and I'm like fully on that bandwagon of being a huge fangirl of Audrey Hepburn. And I've tried to kind of analyze why, and I can't really quite figure out specifically why I'm so drawn to her and why so many other people are as well. But I'm just a huge fan of Audrey Hepburn. She's amazing. So I'd say probably my favorite Audrey Hepburn movie is this one right here, Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck. I rewatched it very recently. I hadn't seen it in years, and I don't want to give any of these movies away, so I won't say too much about the movies per se, but the movie is set in Rome. It's beautiful. She's a princess, and it's romantic, but in kind of like in different ways. It's beautifully shot. I think part of what makes a movie good or not is actually like how it's filmed. The cinematography piece is actually really important to me, and I think it's beautifully done. I love the story. I love everything about this movie. So if you guys haven't seen this one, I highly recommend Roman Holiday. The next movie that I really love is called Manuels Gift. And I'm guessing that most of you guys probably have not heard of this movie. It's a story it's a real story. It's a documentary of a young man who bicycles with one leg through Ghana. And I actually had the immense pleasure of meeting Emmanuel when my classmates and I in graduate school traveled to Ghana, and we were like already obsessed with this movie, all of us, and I don't really remember exactly how it happened that we were able to connect with him and meet him, but it was so cool. But it's an extremely inspiring, heart-lifting movie. It's beautifully done. He's truly such an inspiration, and I have goosebumps. I haven't seen this one in quite a while, but it's just an amazing testament to how much you can do and to the human spirit in general. And obviously a really big part of the story is the perceptions of individuals with disabilities. And in Ghana, it's changing, but there's definitely more stigma attached to having a disability in other parts of the world, like in Ghana. And when we were there, we also met with different teachers of children with disabilities. And so I don't know, this is kind of like a heavier topic, but it's narrated by Oprah Winfrey, and it's a beautiful movie. So if you guys ever have the chance to check it out, I would highly recommend it. Just as I held that up for you guys, I noticed that it also won several awards. So it's very well done. All right, the next movie here is also a huge favorite. This one I love because it's so funny. It's called Bon Cop, Bad Cop. And I don't know, this one may not be as funny if you guys don't have any experience with Canada and with Quebec and Ontario, but even if you look at the box here, there's a Canadian flag and a Quebec flag, and I do think knowing some of the history and the politics makes this movie much more humorous and interesting. But if you are Canadian and you haven't seen this movie, I could watch it again and again and again. I love it so much. I find it hilariously funny. Another movie that I love, I think maybe it's done by the same director. I'm just kind of making that up, but there's some kind of association, I believe, with this movie and another really funny movie for my Canadian viewers out there. It's called French Immersion. And again, it's also a lot of kind of like humor regarding like French Canada versus English Canada. So I don't own that movie, but it's also a movie that I really, really have enjoyed watching. Next up, we have one of my really all-time favorite movies. I'm really revealing my true colors here. Pride and Prejudice. Don't roll your eyes at me. Don't judge me. I love this movie. It's such a romantic movie, and I don't know, I guess I'm kind of a hopeless romantic, but it's beautifully shot. It's a classic novel, obviously, by Jane Austen, and I saw the other version of this movie as well, but there's something about this particular version of the movie that I really, really love. So this one has Keira Knightley, and Mr. Darcy is played by Matthew McFadden, I believe, and he does, I don't know, he does an incredible job, but it's really a story for all you romantics out there, and I really enjoy this one. I didn't actually watch this one well into my 20s. I'd heard of it, obviously, because it's a classic, and I always thought, I'd hate that movie. That sounds lame, but I didn't think it was lame. I loved this movie. So if you guys haven't seen it, give it a chance. Maybe you'll love it as well. All right, next up, we have another Audrey Hepburn movie, and this one is Funny Face. And it's funny. So I hadn't seen this movie in at least 10 years, and I watched it in the last month or so. And it's really interesting how we change and evolve and how we kind of look at something differently. I loved this movie, but for entirely different reasons than I originally loved this movie. So I don't quite remember kind of my thoughts when I first watched it, but now I can tell you that some of the things I appreciate about it, I know I definitely didn't even pick up on back when I first saw it, but one thing I think is really, really cool about this movie now is actually how it was filmed. So it was filmed using Technicolor, and that was back in the day when movies were still made in black and white. They began this new process of adding colors to the movies, but they weren't actually being truly like filmed in color. And so they really have this very unique effect. The colors render very differently. And another really good example of Technicolor is The Wizard of Oz. So if you guys watch this movie or The Wizard of Oz, you'll notice that the colors are very vivid and almost, I'd say almost harsh sometimes, but it's very distinct, and that's part of what makes it really, really cool. Something else that I also found really cool about the movie this time around is the fact that it's a musical. And I would say that I'm not a huge fan of musicals overall, but recently I've been trying to appreciate a musical differently and for what it is. And to not just say, well, I blanket don't like musicals. And so kind of looking at it through the lens I've trying to look at musicals through, I really appreciated it, and I thought it was quirky and well done and really funny. And again, I love Audrey Hepburn, so I'd probably love most movies that she's in. However, I do think there were really many very interesting components about this movie. The other thing I'll mention as well, let me see if it says, I don't remember the exact year it was filmed in, but okay, so the copyright is 1956. So just kind of seeing New York in the 50s, it's really neat. I went to school in New York City, and seeing that kind of old world style and how things used to be. It's very kind of nostalgic, and I really love that as well. All right, you guys, I have 2 more movies to share with you guys. So first I'll share with you guys the movie I'm currently watching, and I say watching because it's a long movie, and so we've divided it up into smaller bits, but it's also like a pretty popular movie that a lot of my family members have seen, and I never got around to ever watching it. But it is Dr. Zhivago. So it's a movie about the Russian Revolution. So this is pre-World War II. And it is, I mean, it's a very complex movie. You can't just kind of half be watching it. So there's a lot of politics in the movie, and it's interesting to kind of learn about that as the movie goes on. There's very much a love story, kind of many love stories throughout. So that's all interesting. But what I really, really love about this movie is just plain old the art direction. I think they did a beautiful job with it. I think literally almost every scene could be captured as a photograph. I love how they use the lighting and colors, and if for any like reason you're not into like the Russian Revolution or the politics or anything like that, I think the movie really is worth watching through the lens of the cinematography and the value that brings. So it's a movie, I haven't yet finished the movie, but that I've really been enjoying it, and I'm glad that I finally got around to watching it. And last but certainly not least, this is a movie, again, that I haven't watched in quite a while, so I do need to rewatch it, but it's definitely a favorite, and it is none other than Zorba the Greek. It's an amazing movie. It has Anthony Quinn and Alan Bates in the starring roles, and it's basically set in Crete in the 60s, and it's a black and white movie. I mean, there's so many things that I truly love about this movie. I love Crete. Crete is absolutely a beautiful place. So I love that whole aspect that it's filmed in Crete. I'm half Greek, right? So I obviously very much connect with the culture, the story. It's beautifully filmed again, and Alexis Zorbas, the main character, is just very fascinating. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, it's actually based on a book. The book is incredible as well. So whether you're more of a reader or a movie watcher, I think either is really a wonderful option. But this one, again, I have to rewatch it. It's a classic. It's a classic, and I really enjoy it every time I see it. All right, you guys. Well, now you know an awful lot about my movie collection. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, but more than anything, I hope that you learned some new vocabulary words or expressions. And if there are any movies that you think I should watch, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys have seen any of the movies that I mentioned, I'm sure some of you will have, then also let me know if any of those are your favorites as well. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like or a share. It really helps my channel, and I very, very much appreciate it. So until next time, you guys, take good care. Bye.